All right. Good evening, traders. Good evening, Ed and Dash. Can you guys hear me? Let's do a sound check to make sure you can hear me and you can see my charts. How's everything look? And while you guys do that, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste our risk disclosure. Good evening, Todd, Mike, Sarah. Sounds good. Everything sounds and looks good. Awesome. Well, I'm going to just jump into it. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. Welcome to Slow Markets. As always, we're going to be analyzing the live markets. You can see behind me I have the Nikkei, and I copy-paste our risk disclosure here at Topstep. So you guys know this is for educational purposes only. And as I go through these trading concepts and analyze these markets, you know, we have our own free will. You guys are executing your own trades. But we do have the Bank of Japan decision coming up. There's no time. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's all tentative. When it gets released, it's going to be released. There's no exact time. So that's why I have the Nikkei behind me. You can see I've shaved. I got a haircut. I think I'm out of that slump that I was in that we called a rollover week. Made $6,000 on Friday. Today I finished up about $2,500 or during the New York session, and now it's a new day. I haven't placed a trade. You can see I have the Nikkei, which is the Japanese market, behind me, and I'm watching this going into the Asian session, going into slow markets. We don't know exactly when it will happen, which kind of sucks, but when it does, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility. I typically do not trade news events, but after we get the news, maybe we see a spike in volatility, let things settle down for a moment, and then see if there's any opportunities as a trader and see if we could make some money. Yeah, also, as I go through my trading, if you do have any questions, please let me know. Type them in the chat. We do have our team that's feeding me any of the good ones that I'll get to. Jay Cook, 10 p.m. Central Time, I thought for Bank of Japan rate decision. Maybe, is there a time when I looked, it just said tentative? Anyone in chat from Ohio? Let's look it up. I like Forex Factory myself. I could be wrong. Let's look. You guys probably know a lot better than I do there in the chat. Someone says 12 a.m. Mongoose, do you have levels close to the NASDAQ current price? Yeah, we're going to be analyzing the NASDAQ, then the Nikkei, and then crude oil. Right now, I'm focused on the Nikkei just at the moment because we're waiting for the Japan, rate decision and also the monetary policy statement. And that could happen at any moment, from my understanding. I could be wrong. That's what I'm looking. I have Forex Factory pulled up now. I don't think there's an exact time. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You guys are a lot more on top of this than I am. 2200 Central Standard Time. Someone in chat, please help me. How do I set bracket orders on Topstep X? I would check the help center or, yeah, so Austin, 10 p.m. like Coach Shay says. So that's going to be right at the end of class. If that does happen, then maybe we let the stream go a little bit longer. We will see. I like to keep it at 1 hour for everybody who doesn't get it. They don't have to sit there and rewatch the recording. Montague says, Bank of Japan is in 2 hours. Where are you getting this information? I'm curious because everything I'm seeing just says tentative, that there's no exact release date. Dell, 2 hours from now. Type in the chat where you're getting this information at. Yeah, it seems like everyone's saying 2 hours. My FX book. Trading economics. Let's see. Yeah, in 1 hour, 54 minutes. 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay. Well, whenever it's going to happen, probably 2 hours, we will not be on stream. But let's just dive into it. I'm going to keep an eye out on the Nikkei. If we do see any movement between now and then. I'm not going to be placing a trade on the Nikkei because it would be crazy for me as a trader to get into a position before a big news event, right? Especially like a rate decision from the Bank of Japan. So here is the NASDAQ. Let's go over the NASDAQ first, and we'll just analyze it, see where we're at, see what we're looking for. But of course, we start on the daily. So here's the daily chart of the NASDAQ, and we've been on an uptrend, obviously. And sure enough, we've been kind of hanging around the channel, and we got to the bottom of the channel. As you can see, it's more of a zone, you give or take, and we've just been trending up and to the right. And when we've been in this channel, the very basic strategy is, buy the bottoms of this and sell the tops. However, we did kind of make a new low. We went up, we tested the high. I think the high today was, 380? 18,381. And from there, we started to sell off. We do have a big news event this week. We have the FOMC decision on Wednesday. And the main thing, so here's my opinion. Now remember, guys, this is just an opinion. All eyes are going to be on the dot plot. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are surprised. And the reason why I say surprised is that everyone has very high expectations. Everybody's very optimistic. They're looking for, over, 3 rate cuts, 6 rate cuts, whatever the situation is. I think that the Fed is going to push the market lower because of the dot plot. And I believe the dot plot is just going to not show what everybody was expecting. So that is 100% my opinion. And it's something I'm going to be watching for. So that way, I just think the Fed is going to just crush everyone's dreams who are bullish on the market and is thinking that. What is the dot plot? I would Google it. I don't want to go too much in detail, but essentially it's just an expectation of maybe when they're gonna. Let me show you here. For example, if they're gonna cut 3 rates, right? So if they're expecting 3 rate cuts, and you hear all of the optimistic about, maybe they're gonna do more. They're gonna cut really quick. However, we've been getting some choppy inflation data, and everything that I'm saying right now is pure opinion and just, what I see, and it's not financial advice, of course, but essentially people tend to be a lot more optimistic. We've been in such a bullish market. It is an election year, and I think the dot plot is going to surprise a lot of people who is going to be expecting more rate cuts, and they're going to push out where, the keyword that the Fed's been saying is higher, longer, higher interest rates for a longer period of time. They're going to be a lot slower at decreasing the rates. So I think there's just going to be some surprise coming on Wednesday. Until then, I'm not going to have any bias. Every single day, we are day traders anyway. We are finally over the rollover for the contracts, and we're seeing price action be a little bit more clean. We're kind of at the bottom of this range. As you can see, over the last week, we've been chopping around here. This is a little bit, from the technical side, bearish. So we have this flag pattern. We broke down on Friday, right? And today's Monday. We went up, we tested it, and then we immediately rejected. This is a pattern that I really like, where we break down or break above a trend. For example, when we broke above this, we went down and we tested it, and then we continued. So this is something, I don't want to say scared, but this is something I'm going to be looking for, is we broke down on Friday, we rallied up, we tested it, and we rejected. And now we're pushing lows tonight. We're pushing all the way down to 18,170. So we very well could see a continuation down further. We're going to see. Let's look at a 60-minute chart. Let's go ahead and look at here. So here's a 60-minute chart of the NASDAQ, the same thing that we were looking at. And we made another lower high. As you can see, equal high, pretty much an equal high. And now we're starting to push lower. We went up, we tested, we tried to break out, and we just sold off near the end of the day. We're right back down to these lows. And so I think we are going to be at risk on continuing to push lower. Some areas that I'm looking at immediately is going to be in this zone right around 17,700 to 17,800. We've tested this a few times, and there was a lot of consolidation in this zone. That's what I'm looking at, to be honest. Maybe we get there tomorrow. Maybe we get there, right before FOMC. I'm not 100%. I don't think I'm going to be taking any longs tonight on the NASDAQ, just because we did break down. We made a pivot low, right? We made this low on, Friday. And today we did have a nice bullish day. However, we immediately got rejected. And yeah, I'm bearish. I'm going to be bearish until FOMC and we start to break, say, the high of today, because the market's just showing a lot more fear than I would like. I'm short the NASDAQ now. Hogs Weekly kickoff level is 17,712 for the low. Yeah, I mean, that's right there. That's right where we were looking at, 17,712. It's right in this zone, right in the, I mean, it's a really decent zone, right? You could see how we have a lot of support. I mean, it's right behind me. The first level, of course, we use these psychological levels, 17,800, just above that. And then maybe if we do push below, then we could definitely see 17,700. That's to the downside. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll watch. However, the good news is the price action is looking a lot more clean. I've enjoyed it. I made money today. I made money on Friday as well. You can see we just rallied up, reversed, sold off. There's a lot less whipsaws, a lot less indecision, and you can see the price action, over the last week compared to today already. It's a lot more clean. This price action was really messy. It's very hard to trade, at least for me, and I struggled. It's rollover. And with rollover, a lot of traders just do not trade it. However, the price action on Friday and the price action today, to me, was really, really clean. You can see the candles were clean. This was Friday, and we rallied up, immediately sold off, and it was just a very clean trading day on Friday. Today was the same thing. We rallied up, and we sold off, and technical analysis, was a lot more favorable in this type of a market. So as we start to zoom in, like I said, this is a 60-minute, and if we continue to test lower, we're already down 0.33, 0.3%. Let's go ahead and look at the 5-minute, and we could talk a little bit about it some more. So this was the overnight session. As you guys could imagine, we just went straight up, and the New York session, the New York Open, we rallied, we made these new highs. And then pretty much after the first 1 or 2 hours of the New York session, it's been sell off. And it was very basic, very easy trading from my style of trading, where support and resistance, we break down. We have, here's the breakdown. We have a pullback, very basic. We pull back to what used to be support, then became resistance. And then we get a continuation, right? So though this type of trading is a lot better when the market is more consistent, when we're past that rollover, and I'm looking for the market to continue to do the same for the rest of this week. The more volatility that we have, the better it is for us as traders. We are at an interesting level, though. yesterday during the New York session, this is about the same level that we were at. You guys could see that here in this zone. This was a strong resistance. We broke out, we pulled back, and this became support. This is right behind me, and we're right there at the level. And so the question is, we're starting to consolidate a little bit, and this support that, resistance that became support, it's acting as support again. And we also have it here, as you guys could see here. This is a key level. We have it back last week. We have it again here on Friday. This was the resistance on Friday. And this was the resistance, or the support and resistance during the London session last night. And so are we going to do the same? Could we see a bounce off this? We very well could. And if we do break, could we see a continuation? I don't want to be in short tonight because we're already down so far. Let's see. Where was the New York session close? The New York session close was, man, it was all the way up here, huh? New York session close. The 5 p.m. open happened basically here. So essentially this is where we were, and then since then it's been a sell-off during the after hours. Sorry, I'm honestly thinking about taking a long right here. Quinn, your father was a coal miner from West Virginia. Man, coal mining. I come from a very huge coal mining town, very small town, and everything that was there was coal mining. And feel free to put your questions in there. Yeah, I think this might be a decent area to find some risk reward. I mean, if you're bullish, this could be that area where if you take a long, for example, here, and then my stop loss would be down here, and if we're looking for some profits, if you are bullish in this market, maybe you could even have a nice tighter stop loss, and then you could get a better risk reward, something like this. This is a lot more of a short-term trade compared to my normal setups on slow markets. And if we look at the hourly chart, maybe the same thing. I like to see a lot more consolidation here and have this resistance, show up as support again. And that's something I'm looking at. It's very hard to buy the market right now because I am a bit more bearish. And this might be, to me, a shorter term trade. It might last to the London session. I'm not sure. Let's look at the 5 minute again. Because we've just been selling off since we closed. Some nice levels right below. Yeah, we do have this where we've shown a lot of support in this zone as well. You guys could see here. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to keep an eye. I'm sure that the Bank of Japan decision might bring some volatility into the NASDAQ as well. But essentially what the trade would be, and here's what I'm looking at, is getting along maybe somewhere in this zone. Do we use a buy stop, which means we wait for the market to reverse and break through this pivot right here? So that would be getting me into a long. Then my stop loss would be below there, and then my take profit might be up here, right to where we open up at 5 p.m., right where the New York session closed. This is something that I do take sometimes. It's a good 2-to-1, maybe a 3-to-1 risk reward, depending on where you get in and depending on where your stop loss is, to see if we can have a push back up to that New York close. The other option is just getting in maybe now, maybe using a limit order, and then you could have a much tighter stop, and so the risk reward is, maybe 5-to-1. The second option is using a limit order somewhere down here. As you could see, that's behind me. If we do sell off into this support zone that showed support during the London session, and then use a stop loss here, maybe something like this. This is a 5-minute chart, yes. Yeah, this is me just thinking out loud. Remember, guys, I'm a trader. This is how I trade, and so a lot of my trades are, and a lot of my class during the slow markets is me thinking out loud. I'm gonna watch this. If this does start to rally from here, I will miss it. I just want to make sure this is a good risk-reward opportunity. We might push down, and if we do sell off, I'm okay with getting in on a reversal trade because I'm a firm believer that the Asian session does consolidate most of the time. Typically, we don't see big rallies or big sell-offs during the Asian session. We get some chop consolidation. It's a lot slower. And so we are down, 0.3%. If we get down to here, somewhere between 0.25% to 0.5% is what I like to take reversal trades. So I definitely like reversal trades at this point, during the Asian session. Like, how do you speak out your thought? I got it long earlier and kept on getting stopped out. I'm not sure what you mean by that. How many ticks do you actually need to make some good money? King, I look for, and when I first started trading futures, and what I definitely recommend is I like to look at points. So on the NASDAQ, it would be on a daily basis. I focused on having a daily target of 10 points to have a daily goal, which equates to 40 ticks. And if I was able to make 40 ticks a day on average, because some days would be better, some days would be worse, you might lose some days. Over the long run, looking for average, if I could do that on one micro, just one contract on a micro, which is only $2 per point. So looking for 10 points a day, $2 per point, which is only $20. It's not a lot of money. To some people, sure, $20 a day on average over a long period of time, then it's more about the strategy. It's more about the execution. It's about being consistent. And then once you become confident and once you become consistent, then you can scale up. For example, do that with one contract in a micro, and then you can scale up to maybe 5 contracts on a micro. $20 turns into $100. Very, very simple. And doing it the same way, right? You average 10 points a day with one micro is only $20. The same exact setup, the same exact system, and the same exact, consistent trading. Then you scale up to 5 micros. Then it becomes $100 a day. And that is a decent wage for spending a few hours trading, right? And that's average. And if you could do that consistently, then you scale up to 1 mini. And 1 mini then becomes $200 a day. And then you continue to do that, right? And it's more about consistency and less about the money, right? And it doesn't have to be 10 points. Maybe it's 5 points. Maybe it's 15 points. You determine it. You find what is best for your system, what you're looking at. And and I could go over, because this is a subject I'm very passionate about, because that's how I started. That's where I focused, work on the process over profits. You guys hear that? There's a ton of analogies. There's a ton of sayings regarding that as well. But I think that's it. Do you think a mechanical rules based strategy can be profitable long term? I think so. Any strategy can be profitable long term, as long as the risk management is number one, right? Risk management has to be priority. You could use any indicator. You could use any moving average. You could use anything in the world to build a strategy and be consistent. The one thing that you do need to focus on is the risk management. 5 points each trade is easy, 2 to 3 trades. Yeah, it's easier said than done, to be honest. If you could average 5 points every day, on average for a year, I mean, that's gold. Like, that really is gold for a strategy. 5 points for one contract on a mini, that's $100, $100 a day, right? You increase that to 2 contracts, that becomes $200 a day, and so forth until you run into liquidity issues. Can you see the regular trading hours on NinjaTrader? Yeah, we're watching them right now. Like, this is the regular trading hours, and I'm on NinjaTrader. I'm switching to Topstep X, getting used to Topstep X, but for my class, I'm going to stick with NinjaTrader until I feel 100% confident to perform the way that I feel is needed on Topstep X. So let's go ahead. That's my idea on NASDAQ. If we do start to push off, I might look for a long on the NASDAQ here. Or if we continue to consolidate and start to break out, maybe I get in long on a breakout. I'm going to watch it. We are bearish, and we're continuing to push down below. Maybe we're going to see a break below the 160s. Let's see the Nikkei. The Nikkei is selling off. And then now let's look at crude oil. So crude oil, man, I've had some amazing trades on crude. I'm going to start on the hourly. The daily is a bit of a mess. Actually, let's look at the daily really quick, and then let's jump down to an hourly. I've made most of my money on crude oil, and I think everybody here who has been in my slow markets knows exactly why. Crude oil has been my cash cow the past few weeks, and it's very simple and very apparent why. I've been bullish crude oil for a while now. I mean, pretty much down here since we broke out of this consolidation, and it has been a very beautiful and a very clean break. So Thursday was the last time I had class, and if you guys remember the trade setup I had on Thursday, I reviewed it. It was a trade that I finally took a great trade in crude, but essentially this is what the setup was. Last Thursday we went and we had a beautiful rally from pretty much 77 all the way up to we broke above 80, and we finally started to hold above 80s. And we went up and we touched 81, and Thursday night was such a beautiful trade. So Thursday night, if you guys could remember what I was looking at, let's see. I need to make sure we were exactly where we're at. Anyway, but I think it was right here. Not 100% sure. However, it was about putting buy limits down in this zone, right? Where this was Thursday night, and we wanted to get long, but we need to make sure we let the price come to us. And the way that we were doing it, as you guys all know, is we look for buy limits around support and resistance. And we did the analysis, but sure enough, I ended up getting into a long, and it worked out really, really well. Came back down, tested these highs right here, and sure enough, we rallied up. I got closed out right back up. I mean, I didn't catch this full move, unfortunately, because most of this move didn't happen until today, and we continued to rally. I'm going to be doing pretty much the same thing. I tell you guys all the time, consistent good trading, in my opinion, is boring as heck. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. Crude oil is bullish. We're rallying, and I'm in the buy the dip mentality for my trading on crude oil. This is a 60-minute chart, and I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. If we do get a sell-off, I want to be buying this market. I want to buy crude oil every time we sell off. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to get in long to see if we can continue to push higher. So the way I want to do that is limit orders. And I love limit orders very much, like you guys see. You could also use buy stop orders. For example, if we do maybe just consolidate, you won't get triggered in long until after we break out, which is fine. That is an option. I definitely like to use limit orders. The first thing I'm looking at is maybe a buy limit here, maybe a stop down here, and a take profit back up to the highs. Remember, this is kind of like a rough draft trade. This is a 60-minute chart, or maybe even a buy limit here to be more aggressive. So the next thing I like to do is drop down to a 5-minute chart, and that we could be a little bit more accurate. So these levels, the first thing I'm seeing is we have some, resistance here. Resistance became support. We have a little bit here that's a little choppy. Oil does like to stop loss hunt, and if traders are being triggered in, so like I said, it's really up to you how you place limit orders. I like to get in at really good risk rewards. This one right around 81, right around 81 and a half is probably looks the best to me. I like this trade. This will give me a decent risk reward where if I do get in long, say at 81.60, then my stop loss, I'm okay with risking, 30 cents. So my risk would be $300. And then my reward would be, if we do break and make new highs, this is a situation where I like to get into 2 contracts, close out one for take profit, and then let one run, because that is, to me, the best way to trade. Let your winners run, and making sure you're closing and locking in some profit. So if I was to get into 2 contracts here, I'd be risking actually $600. And I do see that we have a pivot here. So if my stop loss is at, say, 38, I'd be risking about 20. This might be okay for me to get into 2 contracts long with a limit order. So what this is saying is if the market sells off, I would be triggered into 2 contracts long crude oil. Then I'll have my stop loss. I'll have one take profit up here near the highs, and then I let one run. Maybe this is a better take profit, and this is looking at maybe a 2, maybe a 3 to 1 for my first target, and then let one run. Yeah, so that's my crude oil. This is something I'm going to look at. I'm not setting it up right now, and this isn't advice. I did that risk disclosure, but using the concept of using a buy limit to where I would close off my computer and let this trade run overnight. NASDAQ is breaking down. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a sell-off the NASDAQ. Nikkei, we're continuing to push down as well. Man, I kind of wish the Bank of Japan decision was going to happen during slow markets. But it's not going to happen until, what do we have, an hour and a half until the Bank of Japan? Not much happening, really. I think there's going to be a lot of people just waiting for the Bank of Japan's decision. And I'm bouncing back and forth, so what are your top 3 trading rules if you have any? For example, my top 3 trading rules. I don't have a top 3, but I could just list off some of my trading rules. Let's see. So Bank of Japan is in 30 minutes, not 2 hours. Yeah, I'm getting mixed results. Like I said, Bank of Japan, I think some people were saying 30 minutes. Some people were saying an hour and 30 minutes. I'm not sure. And gold is falling. Let's take a look at gold, because I know a lot of traders were wanting me to look at gold. But while we do that, I'm going to go ahead and I don't have 3 favorites because the question that I want to answer is, what are your top 3 trading rules if you have any? So some of my top rules is do not, or let me think. Yeah, this is gold. We have a 5-minute gold chart up right now. So do not risk more than the daily loss limit, of course. That's a given. I think for me, I'm going off of a 150K account. 150K account is do not risk more than 0.25% per trade. So for example, I do not want to risk more than $300 to $400 per trade. So that's one of my top rules. It's really focusing on the risk management side of things. The other one is do not trade right before news events. Before news events, markets are just very choppy. Yeah, so I think all of my top rules really evolve around risk management, like not risking more than that, not moving my stop loss wider once I get into a trade, I'm trying to think of some of them. I'll have to pull up because it's very hard to name like the top 3. Yeah, I think that would be good of it. Anything that revolves around risk management is like my top 5, top 10. And then the other ones is more about trailing my position, which is also can fall into the category of risk management because I do trail it. So essentially I'm moving my stop loss, which is a form of risk management. So definitely risk management is always my focus. And then of course, risk reward, cheap trades, as you guys hear Hogue say it. And all these could still be under the category of risk management. Is the 300 rule just for slow markets trading? Do you risk a lot more than that during the New York session? So per account, so for example, I do copy trade, and if I'm risking $400 per account, then it's going to be a total of $1,200. But typically, it's 0.25% per trade. And if you're in a 50K account, then obviously it's going to be a third of that. And it's scalable, right? So for example, it doesn't really matter if I'm trading a 50K account or a 150K account or a $500,000 account. The risk management rules will be the same percentage-wise. And I find that that's best for me. That's the best way that I look at the market and I look at my trading, and it's scalable, and it also it goes both ways, right? Because when I'm winning and I'm making money, the account scales. But then when I'm losing money, the account will go the opposite way, right? So if I'm risking $400 per trade, well, if I lose, I've been in a losing streak the last few weeks, then as my account shrinks, then my size shrinks, right? So it doesn't make sense why would I be risking $300 per trade if I'm trading a $5,000 account? I should be doing based off of percentages. So I'm not getting into too big of a position where I'm risking more than what I can handle for my account size. Yeah, so it's the same, Richard. There's some times where I've placed multiple trades where I have hit my daily loss limit, where I've taken loss after loss after loss. Sometimes I'll scale into a trade. Sometimes I'll take a little bit too bigger, and the market moves fast. And the thing is, a live account, you get slippage. And so even though I might be risking, say 5 points, and by the time I close out of it, I lose 7 points, maybe 6 points. So there is slippage in a live account. So simulated environment is a lot different than a live environment. We're kind of spoiled here at Topstep. The fact that we could make money in an express funded account and get paid out for it. So take that as you will, where we are really spoiled here at Topstep. Like for example, here's my 3 express funded accounts I got last week. I'm at $1,700, $1,800 on these 3 accounts. And if I was getting live fills, maybe I have $100 or $200 difference on this, because the fills in these express fund accounts are so much better than my live. So we are spoiled in a simulated environment here at Topstep, and to be able to receive live money or real money is just a God given gift, right? And I love that, where we can work our way from a simulated environment to a simulated environment which we could receive a payout, and then to a live account, which is a whole nother level where we're not only dealing with emotional side of things, we're dealing with the real live environment of how the market is. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here on NASDAQ. We did break down below that level, and we're getting a bounce. Yeah, I'm going to close off gold. I mean, sure, that is a sell-off on gold. I don't trade gold very much, so I'm going to just close that one. You're going to start tuning into slow markets. Yeah, welcome. Like I said, if you guys have any idea of improving slow markets as we go through it, because the markets are slow and we have a lot to talk about, and we have some time to talk about it. It's already been 40 minutes. 1 hour seems to go very fast, and we have an amazing moderators behind the scenes who send me questions. If you guys have questions, let me know. I love answering them, and you guys could see questions that if you might think are stupid, others do not think so, because we have a wide range of traders. We have traders who have been here for years. We have traders that have 15 plus years experience, and then we also have traders that are brand new who are learning what are candlestick patterns, what's a moving average, what is this, like very basics. And as a coach and as somebody who wants to help traders, it's very difficult to reach all levels of experience, right? Because a brand new trader who's learning candlestick patterns will get lost if I start talking more in-depth strategies or concepts or risk management, and vice versa. If you are a trader and you've been trading for 15 years, you don't want to hear me talk about very basic candlestick patterns. Yeah, and so it's give or take, right? Do you tend to shrink your profit targets during slow markets? Roy, no. I do the exact opposite. Roy, my profit targets increase during slow markets. So, for example, this is crude oil, and the one trade I'm looking at for crude oil is to see if I could get in long around the $81.50s, so 81, say 60. And this will be my stop loss, and my take profit my first take profit would be here, say maybe 82.20. And if I get into 2 contracts, my second take profit I would leave as a runner, and we could see this thing maybe at $83 a barrel. So those are some wide take profits, right? However, if I'm trading during the New York session, I'm more scalping, and so I might be getting in and out a lot quicker. And so my slow markets class, where I get in and I place my trades and I place my orders, because I might not get filled, because if oil decides just to go down to here and then rally, I will not get into this trade. I will only get into this trade if it sells off to my buy limit order of, say, 81.60, and I might be in this trade until the New York close. I'm not sure. So that's almost over 10 hours of a trade time, and so I can have these much wider stop losses. I can have these much wider take profits. It doesn't mean I'm risking more or I'm making more, because the position sizing is different. I have smaller position sizing when I'm trading my slow markets class, because my take profits and my stop losses are much wider. Then during the New York session, when I might be going for, instead of, what is this, over $1, on that, maybe this average is a $1 move in crude oil. During the New York session, maybe I'm only going for 25 cents. And for this example, maybe I'm getting in at 2 contracts. During the New York session, maybe I'm getting into 3, maybe very rarely will I scale into like 4 or 5 contracts, only going for 25 cents. But the risk reward is always based off a percentage. And for example, let me give you an example, okay? If this was the New York session and I wanted to get into a trade, and I am looking at this NASDAQ, and I want to get in long NASDAQ right now, and I trade off a 5-minute chart, you could see that maybe I get in long on something very simple. This is hindsight trading. Let's say I get in long here. I would have my stop loss here. So I'm only risking 10 points. So that's still only one contract, maybe two contracts. My reward, my target might only be up to here or something. So my risk reward will typically be the same. It might change depending on how the market condition. But you could see this would be the New York session, the way I trade during the New York session. But then the London session, when I'm basing it off a 1 hour chart, I'm looking for take profits, maybe back up here, get in here, and have my stop loss maybe down here. So, and then leave a runner. So my targets are definitely longer during the slow markets class. When would you consider this market to not be in a bull? Would you need to wait until the daily or hourly are down and to the right? Yeah, so maybe that's a good question to cover because we go over it almost daily, right? This is a daily chart. And for me, I like to look at the daily and the hourly to determine overall trend. And right now we're up and to the right. As you guys could see, we had this huge sell-off. It doesn't mean that we are now in a bear market, right? We did not have a bear market on this big sell-off. This was, a 5, maybe a 6-day big sell-off, and it's not a bear market. This was not a bear market. These were not bear markets. These were, in my opinion, I call these intermediate bear. You could call it an intermediate bear market, where these are just pullbacks in the overall, bullish market that we started back at the end of October. And we could very well have a continued sell-off, for who knows how long, right? And so the question is, when would I say that the market is in a bear market? I would use this as a reference, where on the daily, we start to make, lower lows and lower highs. So I would definitely consider this a bear market. However, on the longer term, this was really just a pullback, right? So we can definitely look at, say, a monthly chart and say, oh, this is a bear market for, 5 months. Then I would be more bearish, of course, in this market. So I think that's the example. But then on a day-to-day, when I'm day trading, which is what we do here at Topstep, I get my overall bias here, and then I'll zoom into an hourly chart, which you guys see me do all the time for slow markets, and I get a more intraday bias. For example, we are more bearish now, and I might be looking to take some shorts because we are doing the same thing. We're making lower highs, and we just made a new lower low. Pretty much, this is the lowest point we've been in March. So I would be more bearish, and so I can therefore say we are in an intermediate bear market, maybe, until we break this high. If we make a new low, we can continue down. So it's purely technical, in my opinion. And yeah, so that's that. Thank you, Rips. Rips and I need to get together for a stream. It's been a week, and it's one of those where you need your trading buddy. Any fire drill on Topstep this week? I don't know. I am planning, and I don't know if the team is behind the scenes watching. So if you guys know, and just so you guys know, this is a little sneak peek. I am planning to do some type of a giveaway here during slow markets. I want to reward the followers that are continuingly watching slow markets, or I guess the dedicated slow market traders, everybody who is here during slow markets. I want to find a way to reward you guys. I don't want it to be, oh, it's a fire drill. Everybody who just randomly shows up to slow markets has an opportunity to get a free reset or a combine. I do not want that. There's 740 traders here. I would rather those resets or combines go to the people who are watching slow markets consistently, rather than those addicted combines that just show up for the resets. So I have yet to figure that out. That is to be determined, but there is progress being made. When that happens, I will let you guys know first. And so you don't need to ask about it. So if I do say, then it will show up, right? You have to start commenting. And it doesn't matter if you comment or not. I will find a way. Trust me. Commenting for proof. Yeah. If you ask good questions, to be honest, my overall goal with this slow markets class is to help traders. And the way that we help traders is ask questions. And if you feel shy about asking questions, there's no question that's too dumb. Like I said, we have brand new traders here who are just learning what candlestick patterns are or what futures are. We have traders who are 15 years experience. There's no question too stupid. There's no question that could be too complex. We are all here to learn, and that's really what I want to do. I don't want to be giving free crap away to traders that are just going in and gambling, right? For lack of a better word. And trust me, I see you guys. I'm here. I see you. Our moderators see you. So we know who's active. We know who's here. There's lots of tools and technologies that will help us see who is continuing to watch. And it's not something where you have to watch every single night. I mean, I would never want somebody to try and carve out 1 or 2 hours every single night of their time. Just consistently enjoying slow markets, showing some support, right? Actively listening. I mean, even Sarah Hecker, she's an amazing support, and it sounds like Topstep had their support going through a lot of the backlog over the weekend, so big shout out there. She pulled up slow markets and she was listening to it without watching, which that's an interesting way to do it. She trading in your bathroom, only dedication, tune in daily. Well, I was kind of hoping to get the Bank of Japan decision and get some volatility here. Can you describe the Nikkei's personality? I'm using ES and NQ. Describe the Nikkei's personality. Let me describe that for you. I noticed something, guys. So this is something I've been testing out. Let's see. So I'm pulling up a DOM on the Nikkei. Oh, where did it go? So I've noticed this, and this is a personality of the Nikkei. I don't know if you guys could see this. Man, that's really small. This might be a little too in-depth for some traders, but bear with me. Let's go. Oh, okay, there we go. That probably looks better for you guys. So, Jay Cook's going to love this. Coach Jay, you're going to love this. So, I've noticed this on the Nikkei. I've been watching the Nikkei a lot. I started trading it the end of last year. And here's something. We have the Nikkei. This is a very thin book, okay? The order book's very thin. And what I've noticed, you guys could see here right behind me, is the Nikkei's been really rallying. This is a really strong rally. And sometimes the Nikkei can start to just move, right? This is a huge rally for the Nikkei. During this rally, it's very hard to just buy the market, right? Close your eyes and buy. And what I've started to notice, and this is just from a buy side, is this order book will start to stack up double wide, so like 10s, 15s, maybe 20s, but typically above 10 contracts, and it will just stack up all the way down here. And the asks will all be single orders. So this, I don't know if this is algorithms, whatever it is. When that happens, it's just we will continue to grind higher. This is just something I've noticed. Take it as it is. We have the Bank of Japan decision coming out tonight. But maybe one of these nights when we do start to move and we don't have the Bank of Japan coming out, we can take a look at it. We could go over and we could just watch it. And I could talk about this a little bit more. But maybe, I don't know if there's a market replay that will show it. But I've seen it where the order book for, all the way down is just, 10, 15, 15, 15. And it will be all the way down this DOM. And the asks will all be under 10. And we just go higher and higher and higher. And essentially that has been some type of an indicator to me. Very much, and I don't know if Coach Jay, maybe you covered this. Today near the end during Power Hour, we had on the NASDAQ, we had two big orders come through on the NASDAQ. They were 500 contracts. Coach Jay, pointed it out. And then the Topstep team pointed out. We had an order of 500 contracts on the NASDAQ come in at, I think, 18,294. And it sat there. Then they pushed it down to, 18,286. And then it got filled. Then another 500 came in at 18,286. And you can tell, I've noticed it. It was interesting. I sat on my hands and I watched it. And after those orders got filled, guess what? Guess where we're at on the NASDAQ? We're at, it was a sell-off, right? It was a complete sell-off since those orders got filled at the close. And those orders got filled right here. Sure enough, that was one heck of a trade on whoever had those 1,000 contracts filled at the ask up in this area. And Coach Jay and Rips are amazing order book traders. I am not. However, with the Nikkei and the Nikkei having thin order books, that this is something that I am going to be watching because I noticed it. This is one thing where I just kept up at night. I'm a Nikkei trader. I'm a slow markets trader. And the Nikkei Japanese market moves a lot more right now than it typically does. So I'm going to watch it. So far right now, it's kind of balanced. There's not a lot of orders stacked at the bid or the offer. I sure wish I could let this stream go until the Bank of Japan. Is it coming out in 2 minutes or in 1 hour and 2 minutes? Price action versus order flow trading. Which is superior trading? I don't think that there's a superior way of trading. Risk management is the superior way of trading. That really is. It doesn't really matter what style. If you can manage your risk and be consistent, you are going to be so much better. Some traders like one, some traders like the other. That's just the reality, right? And it depends on your time frame. Like, how could you be an order book trader? Maybe I might be wrong, but during my slow markets class, how could I be an order book trader when I'm looking at the daily or the hourly charts, right? When I'm setting my orders up and I just let them run, that's a lot harder to be an order book trader, right? Or order flow or watch the DOM, because that's not going to really mean anything when I'm looking at very basic support and resistance. However, when I'm watching and I'm sitting here in front of my computer monitor, then yeah, you could see like maybe we're here at 39,280. And the ask side is looking pretty thin. We're starting to stack at the bids. This isn't very much to what I've seen it. Feel free to follow. You guys could watch this as well. I'm going to be bringing this up during my slow markets class, and maybe we could just watch it. Maybe we could learn together, because I'm very brand new at the Nikkei. And I say I'm very brand new because I did not start trading it until October. And so to me, I'm brand new. I traded in a sim environment on the Nikkei from October till the end of December. And I did not take my first live account trade in the Nikkei until January 1st. So that's why I'm saying I'm very brand new to the Nikkei. Before I was trading gold. Now I've switched my gold for Nikkei. Hey coach, is the low volume the reason why you can get big swings on the Nikkei? Not really. Because you could get big swings in any market, right? Just sometimes the Nikkei it takes less to push the Nikkei, and you can see that. Look how ugly this is, right? There's nothing right there. It's just a thin order book, right? The Nikkei is very thin. You can see here, somebody with 50 contracts could come in and push this market, 5, 10 ticks in any direction, and at $25 a tick, they can influence this market very, very easy. And so very much like the difference between the NASDAQ and the Dow, the NASDAQ's a lot more wild, and it has a lot more whipsaws. The Dow is a little more consistent. The ES is a little more consistent. It has a lot thicker order book. And sure enough, look, we're starting to push up a little bit. We could start to see these, a lot more bids here. And look at this, 2 contracts, 2 contracts, 2 contracts, up to 370, 365, 360. It will not take very much to push it up there. I mean, I could switch to my live account and I could get filled at 15 and push through some of this, right? So I think that's it. Let's get to some more questions, and I think we will call it good. I kind of wanted to trade during the Bank of Japan. Let's see if maybe I could get some permission, guys. Can I get permission to keep the stream open? Let's see. Why can't I have Nikkei data on my NinjaTrader? I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm going to put this to the side. Sometimes what I had to do is you have to come in here and change the trading hours to default 24/7. Bank of Japan in an hour. This is really big. Nikkei giveth and Nikkei taketh. Let's see. I don't think I would be able to get permission to pull up the stream. Let's see. What we'll do is I'll get it to a point in slow markets now that we're getting a lot better. We're getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot better at running the stream. It's becoming a lot more consistent. I was talking with the Topstep team behind the scenes about, maybe we run a test stream to see if we can, how everyone thinks about letting slow markets run for 2 hours every once in a while. Now remember, it's also my time. I do not want to be holding a class for 2 hours every single night. So it's not going to be every single night. It'll be every once in a while when I feel like we should have a class for 2 hours. And I think tonight would be one of them, where if we get a lot of traders who want me to have a 2-hour class, maybe we change the times. I'm not sure, but there's definitely an aspect of flexibility because this is slow markets. Unlike the New York session, where the first 1 hour is the most volatile, we could run into something like tonight, where we could have a much longer class. Maybe something like, hey guys, tonight we have the Bank of Japan decision coming up this week for Monday night. Class is not going to be at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be starting it at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I have a lot more flexibility. I don't want to be eating up a lot of my time because, like I said, I also enjoy my time off. So we will see. What's your guys' opinions on that, though? Let's get a good read in the chat. How do you guys feel on a 2-hour slow markets class or a 1 hour later slow markets class? Let's see. I don't know how to do a poll yet. I haven't even tried, John, on how to do a poll. Do I just run for 2 hours and ask for forgiveness later? Is that going to be one of those? Should I do that? Should I just say, you know what? It's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission? That's usually what I do. Yeah, I could invite a guest to talk. And we're starting to get that bounce here on the Nikkei. Yes, yes. Yeah, everybody wants the longer. Okay, I'll have to talk to the Topstep team. Like I said, I'm going to ask them first. Man, see, leave it up to me to call this up, to call this trade out and not take it, because we just smashed through that 60, 65 little thin order. See? Austin, I'm a contractor. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. You see this, guys? You see how I was looking at this? The bids are a lot more thicker. It's a lot clearer on the Nikkei, to my opinion and my view, is when these bids start to be stacked up. But when we do get really strong bullish days like we did on Friday, where we rallied 1% in the Nikkei, immediately the bid would hold 10 plus contracts, where these will be all stacked up like 15 to 10 contracts, and the asks will still stay, 3 contracts. And it was really easy to see, and it was, bid up, right? Yeah, so we'll see. If you guys really want slow markets to go 2 hours, not every single day, but some days, it really is supply and demand. It's supply and demand with anything. If we get a lot of people that want it and demand it, then of course Topstep is going to want to meet that demand. And so if you guys are letting Topstep know, like, hey, I'd love to see slow markets go for 2 hours. Maybe I learn how to do a poll. But yeah, the more vocal you guys are at what you want, then the more Topstep is able to cater to that. Topstep is amazing. They do that for this, right? They do that for YouTube and us as coaches. And they also do that for their new Topstep X platform. They go by, how is everybody, what's everybody liking, what's helping everybody. So yeah. Poll, then show it to Topstep. Let me see. I could try and do a poll. I will end up screwing something up. So I'm going to not do the poll. And I reached out. Let me see. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm seeing if I could get any update from the team. Yeah, that would have been a great trade. That was just another example of me calling out a trade and not taking it on both the NASDAQ and this Nikkei. Everyone at Topstep is already asleep. What do you... Rips, can you do that? You got the magic fingers. Rips is the king. If you can, I'm able... I think I could do it. I just don't want to screw anything up. Let's see how many traders here, how many people here wants a 2-hour session of slow markets. And that's something I could go back with feedback. I know a lot of traders, they have me plug in what is it? Just if you guys leave Topstep a review or any questions, and it's something that you want, Topstep is always open to feedback. Yeah, Rips, have you got sleep? I think I seen Rip's stream where he made, $3,000 this morning, and he was running off of 3 hours of sleep. There you go. That was from Rips. That is 100% Rips. He deserves an assist on that. Rips sleeps 1 hour a day. Rips wakes up at like 2 a.m. Yeah, if I could be like half of the discipline that Rips has on his day to day, man, I would be next level. I seen him drinking a Monster Energy drink this morning. Yeah, I've cut off my caffeine. I've been trying to stop drinking caffeine, guys. I've been getting headaches. I've not been feeling good. Instead of going cold turkey of cutting off my caffeine, I've decided to slowly wean off of it. Later is better. Yeah, I thought we was going to get a little bit more volatility than what we are getting now. But everything is kind of catching a little bit of a bid. Yeah, that would have been a great trade in that. So we're sitting at 238 votes. 700 traders liking this. I think, you know what, guys? I'm going to make the decision. I might pay for it later. That's okay. We're going to go until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to go. So I'm watching this. We'll see if we could catch the Bank of Japan decision tonight. And we're going to go from there. So I'm going to ask for forgiveness today and rather than permission. And I'm going to pay for it. So there you go, guys. I'm not leaving. And big shout out to Rips. He's the one that did the poll. I love it. And I'm going to watch this NASDAQ rally without me. So where are we at for the likes tonight? Am I being a rogue trader? Is that what I'm doing? This is Topstep's version of rogue trader. I mean, I don't have access to the Topstep house account. If I had access to the Topstep house account, I'm going to hop over to the Nikkei and we're going to freaking buy it. That would be interesting, right? How would the storyline be? Rogue Trader 2.0, slow markets guy got access to the Topstep house account and started buying up the Nikkei. That's what happened on Rogue Trader, right? He was holding all these Nikkei longs and he was trying to buy it right before a Bank of Japan decision. What could go wrong? Yeah, we are catching a bid here on Nikkei. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. Now we have another, is it 9:30 Central until it comes up on the Bank of Japan decision. And we are pushing really nice here on the NASDAQ. So while I'm doing this, feel free to ask questions. I want to make sure that I make this as productive as possible. If I'm going to spend an extra, 40 minutes here on stream for you guys, please let me know. $18,196. Yeah, that was the trade. I mean, This is something, like I said, it's very basic technical analysis, right? That was the trade. We're starting to rally and bounce off that. It was a very simple trade, right? When we're talking about risk reward, we seen it here on the NASDAQ. We seen it before it happened. I just failed to execute. We are having a nice rally here in the NASDAQ. And it's a reversal trade. Like I said, the Asian session, most of the time we like to consolidate reversal trades. I do like during the Asian session. That's why I like limit orders, buy limit. This would have been a great area for a buy limit. However, it did not give me that price. If we did sell off a little bit more, this was the zone that I was, kind of looking to enter. It didn't give that to me, unfortunately. Nikkei is moving up as well. Yeah, we've seen it in the order books, right? Where the bids were being stacked up on the bid. Jay Cook, I just got short NQ, stop right above 200. We are getting some volatility. This is just the start of it. I think as soon as we get the Bank of Japan decision, it's going to start to spike. What's the short-term exit you are seeing on the NASDAQ for a long? So and maybe this is going to be a good example. So on the NASDAQ, when I play reversals in this style, so for example, this setup that came where we sold off because we closed up here. So we closed and we opened up at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, the new trading day. This is where we opened up. So essentially here was the close and here was the open. Since then, we've sold off. We sold off to a great area of support, right? During the New York or the London session yesterday, this was the zone. Now everything's a zone. It's not exact support and resistance. Let me show you guys here. This was the zone that was resistance. We broke out of that during the London session and we tested it. It became support. Essentially, we sold off down to there. And now if there's an area, because there's no guarantee that this was going to become support, right? Because there's no guarantee in the markets. However, if there is an area to have a good risk reward or, get into a cheap trade, as Hogue would say, this to me would be that good opportunity. Find a way to get in line somewhere in this zone, get in long, and this will give me an opportunity to limit risk. If we break below that, whether we're getting in long at that breakout, so that buy stop, or if we're getting in long using a buy limit order somewhere down here, then I would look for either take profits to see if we could get back to where we opened up at 5 p.m. or closed during the New York session, or at least at very minimum, the next resistance. And we're coming up on the next resistance right here anyway, that you could see right around, in the 90s, the 190s. Markets love key psychological levels. So $200 or 19,200 is a key psychological level that we could see some resistance come into play. We're still negative, 0.2% here on the NASDAQ. And so I'm going to watch it. Like I said, no trades for me. We have the Bank of Japan decision coming out, and that will most likely push these markets. And if we jump over to the Nikkei, it's one of those where I'm sitting on my hands, unfortunately, and here's the DOM, and we can still see the same thing, right? There's nothing at 435, nothing at 430, pretty much nothing at 425. And then over here on the bid, we're seeing the bids being piled up here in the Nikkei, and it would not take much. Myself, I'm just one trader, and I could trade 15 contracts. If I wanted to, I could just smash this all the way up to 440, right? One person is very, very thin order book. 15 contracts, I could smash it all the way up past 400. So anybody that is trading the Nikkei needs to understand that this order book is very thin, and especially before a big Bank of Japan decision. Right before that, we could very well see these order books get a lot thinner. We're going to see a lot of volatility and see if there's an opportunity to get a scalp during the NASDAQ. How do you get those volumes on the DOM level 2? You just go on to Topstep. There's a way to get level 2 data there. Oil is starting to rally as well, where it seems like all three of these markets are starting to, what do we call it, catch a bid. Yeah, Jay. Level 2. What about the hidden volume like iceberg stops? Like I said, I'm not an order book trader. So I don't feel confident answering questions that pertain to the order flow or order book because I'm not that great of a trader. To be honest, I'm as rookie as it gets when it comes to trading the order book. I've just been watching the Nikkei and seeing if I could identify anything on the Nikkei when it comes to the order book and see how it changes so fast. We have a big 27 order at 39,450. And it's just really, really thin. When it's thin, you can't exit the position quickly. That's correct. Yep. Yeah, and you can see how it's spotty, right? So you can see this, what I highlighted here. This is a 5-minute chart. So this is part of the result of the order book being very, very thin. And that's why I would only recommend trading this during its key hours, very much like any market, right? Where liquidity is king. We want liquidity as traders to be getting in, be getting out of markets. However, when I do trade during my slow markets, it's on a higher time frame, right? And I have a higher, outlook on the market, holding for, much longer hold times than just getting in and getting out really quick. Where I'm looking to hold for, hours or maybe even overnight here. And I know I'm like maybe spotlighting Nikkei during my slow markets. However, I look at crude oil and the NASDAQ as my top 2 markets. Number 1 is NASDAQ for me. Number 2 is crude oil. And then number 3, as an alternative, is Nikkei. So let me make sure I get that right. And let me make sure I explain that very loud, very clear to everybody here. For new traders or traders who have been here a while, the number 1 market that I do trade is the NASDAQ. The number 2 market that I trade is crude oil. And then number 3 is Nikkei. I don't place very many trades on the Nikkei, maybe 3-4 trades a week, which is not a lot. That's averaging less than 1 trade per day on the Nikkei. For the NASDAQ, as we're starting to see it, continue to rally here, 50 points almost, or pretty much 50 points from the low, it is my primary market. I am 100% a NASDAQ trader. I love it. I love the volatility. So definitely NASDAQ first. And then crude oil. You guys see me analyze crude oil all the time. Yeah, I've been bullish. We've been rallying for a while. And any trade I've been trying to take advantage has been to the long side. And we're starting to see some volatility come here. What is it? 7 minutes? We have 7 minutes left until we get some news. The order book's starting to look a lot more thin. We could pull that up here, and you can see there's nothing at the ask. From 470 to 455, 0, right? And that's a huge move because it's $25 per tick. So that's, $100 worth of a move if you're in one contract, that there's nothing there. And so we'll watch this together. I don't mind watching this together with you guys. Let me go ahead and make sure that this is on top because I want to make sure it's on top. There we go. And it doesn't disappear. So we'll put that there. Make sure it's not in the way. Let's see. How does that look? That should be a lot better for you guys. And let's watch this together. We could talk about it. We could see if it affects any of these other markets like the NASDAQ and crude oil, which, most likely we will. Other markets that I have traded and I could see becoming very volatile at this time is Forex, right? We have the ability to trade Forex futures. I do not trade Forex futures here. Definitely the Japanese yen, could be a very volatile market. I would recommend trading the futures rather than any other Forex. So what's the ticker symbol? I'm sure somebody out here would know the ticker symbol. and probably trades Forex futures. I would strongly recommend Forex futures over any other Forex that's not centralized. Yeah, 6J and ZN should be interesting too for this release. 6N. Thank you, Jay. We're continuing to see a lot volatility being injected into this market. Like I said, I'm going 2 hours tonight. And if you guys want more of this, let me know. Let the Top Step. I have that poll, that amazing poll that Rips was so kind to help me with. He's amazing. The more vocal you guys are, the better it is. So that way, myself and Top Step will continue to improve and be the best of the best, right? Like anything that is competitive, in order to continue to be the best of the best, we compete against ourselves. Just like any other professional athlete, that is the greatest of all time. What's the difference? King D, what do you mean? What is the difference? The ZN 10-year note, they are pretty correlated. You can trade Forex. Yeah, King D, you could trade Forex futures. We're starting to get, so it's not as thin now. See, this is unique. You see how thin it is, but we're not missing anything, and it looks like sixes across the board. 7 and 8s over here at the bid. Oh, I need to make sure these are correlated. It's incredible there's no spread. I mean, it's still relatively liquid. I would definitely, even though the order book is thin here in the Nikkei, I would prefer this over futures. If you're at futures, there's a spread. And, you know, I've seen other brokers and prop firms that trade futures, and they could artificially put a spread on there, and it's just ugly. So I stick to futures. It's been my favorite. Like I said, Nikkei is my third option. My first is, of course, the NASDAQ and crude oil. So we'll watch this. We have, what, 3 more minutes to the top, or the, what do we call it? Liquidity injection. And then the Bank of Japan decision is in, what, 30 minutes? How did you get your DOM to show the numbers on the left and right? I can't remember. There's definitely some settings for it. I would check on, we do have an amazing Discord, and we have kind of a community for each of the platforms. So there is a Ninja Trader platform community or area in Discord. There's also a Topstep X area in our Discord. So if you do have any other questions, there's a lot of traders trading the platforms, so that you could ask that question and they'll be able to help that. But this is a level 2 data. So these are the order books or the order book for Nikkei, and you could see how thick it is or how in depth it is. Topstep X, we can go a little bit deeper as well on Topstep X. What do we have? 2 more minutes. Yeah, Quinn, thank you for that. There's our Discord link. Thank you, Sarah. She's one of our amazing ambassadors. Any questions you guys really do have, our Discord you could find really quick. We have an amazing community that I am in there relatively often. You can hop in there and ask questions. I'm just checking the news now. We're starting to see more volatility come in. Rips here. I just loaded an Nikkei chart, but it seems like a lot of it is missing. Any suggestions how I could clean it up? Yeah, so I guess I could really briefly go over that. Just right click on data series, and then make sure it's 24/7. The decision is supposed to be at 3 GMT. And also there's a way on Topstep X. Like I said, Topstep X is going to be the platform I'm switching to and I'm getting comfortable on. So I would 100% recommend going into the question mark on Topstep X and put in your recommendation there and vote. It's kind of like Reddit where you could vote up suggestions there. Bank of Japan decision could come out at any time now. Australia out in 1 hour. Yeah, we're starting to see a lot more volatility come into the markets. I think everyone's just patiently waiting. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be making any immediate trades. Typically what I like, what do we call it that? Rips calls it the afterglow. We'll have a lot of volatility come into the market. It'll start to settle down a little bit. We can start seeing some very basics, technical analysis. Are we making higher highs, higher lows? Are we breaking in one direction? And then I'll be able to maybe find an opportunity to limit risk and place a trade. And you guys could see this is a very thin order book. Look at this. It's getting even more thin. Like there's nothing up here. A 15 contract order could come in and just wreck this market in one direction or the other. This is 100% the reason why I do not like to trade right before the news. There's nothing at these asks. And so we could see some major spikes. NASDAQ is kind of patiently waiting here as well. Short the pop on the Japanese yen. Rips is still here with only 3 hours of sleep. Yep, Rips. I don't know how you do it, man. That's how we're going to be doing it in Vegas, though. Vegas is going to be fun in June. Rips has everything booked, it sounds like, for Vegas. I need to get everything booked as well. The sooner I book it, the cheaper it typically is. Plus, I'm only a 6-hour drive. I'll typically get a flight down there, too. No sponsor yet, unfortunately. I know we're trying to get, not me. If Celsius wants to sponsor, I'd be okay with free Celsius. I mean, what better sponsor could there be for a trader than an energy drink? Maybe Red Bull? And we're just watching this. It could happen at any moment now. Okay, let's get to some more questions while I hop on over here. Topstep headquarters, a thing. I believe we could consider Topstep headquarters in Chicago. The Chicago, Board of Trade is where the office is. I do know MP has, what do we call it, a satellite office maybe in Colorado, but that's just me making a guess. Sponsored by Vegas might be better. Yeah, Vegas is going to be fun. It's this Topstep Trading League where we're getting teams, we're preparing. Funded traders are going to be able to compete head to head. And Topstep is going to be having a lot more details. I'm excited. Yeah, Aspen, Colorado. Hoop. I've been there. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm going to be going snowboarding here in Utah. And this is the first time I've been snowboarding in almost 15 years. I was born and raised, and I live here in Utah. And the last time I'd been snowboarding was like 15 years old. What's the benefit of going live under Topstep as opposed to opening or adding to your own futures account? I'd rather not go live. So the benefit of going live at Topstep is versus creating your own account, like funding your own account, is it only costs what, $50 to open an account here at Topstep. You practice in a combine, which is a simulated environment. Then you go through, you get funded to an XFA, and you spend some time in an express funded account. And the money you make in an express funded account, you can receive a real paycheck for, a payout. And then when you show consistency, our Topstep risk managers will evaluate your trading and then move you to a live account if they say so. 100%, it's a lot. Would less risk be the right wording? So you're only risking $50 to go through compared to funding your own account, right? What's the minimum amount that you need to trade versus what you got here at Topstep? So for example, I trade a 150K account. I copy trade, 3 accounts. So I'm trading 3 150K accounts, which only costs $150 each, which is $450. So my investment is $450, and I get to trade a total of 15 contracts 3 times. So 45 contracts for $450 is dramatically different than trying to do that for your own. You'd need at minimum, 45,000 to trade that, and that's on margin. Then you don't have the stress of losing your own money. 900 including activation. Yeah, I mean, if you include activation fee, yes, once you get to XFA. So once you get to XFA, the overall investment would be $900 for 3 XFAs. But if you're just doing a 50K combine, total investment is $100. And that's saying Topstep is amazing. If you watch TopstepTV, odds are you're going to have opportunities to get an account for $0 or a Topstep X account for much, much cheaper. I believe they gave away some Topstep X combines for like $5, and then go through that. But in terms of like the difference between live or express funded account, I mean, if you're a successful trader and you're consistent and you make money, you probably don't need a prop firm, or you just want to trade a prop firm because you don't have as much risk. It really is up to you. Have 5 of those 50K. Yeah, Hoop, you got the what is it? The $4.50 for those 50Ks. Topstep X is amazing. I'm excited to be switching over. I've been testing it out. I've been playing with it. I've been putting my suggestions in on there as well. It's a matter of risking your own capital versus not. My own money, I'd rather do other stuff with it. We're not getting that Bank of Japan decision yet. Everything's just we're kind of just patiently waiting, right? You also get your activation fee back with your first payout. Yeah, I mean, here, let me give you guys a real example. So, real example while we're here waiting for the Bank of Japan decision. Here are 3 Express Combine accounts I just started, okay? Last week. I started these last week. So I paid just like everybody else. I don't get special treatment. I wish I did. I tried to get it, and they wouldn't give it to me. I paid $150 for 3 combines, which was $450. I traded those for a week. I made $9,000 in those combines. I passed, and I paid for the activation fees, which my overall investment in these 3 accounts is $900. And in the past 2-3 days, I'm now at about $1,800 per account. So my overall investment is $900. And right now I'm sitting at, on average, 1,800 times 3. I'm sitting at just over $5,000. And I have 3 winning days. In 2 more winning days of 200, let's just say theoretically on Wednesday, say today I make $200, tomorrow I make $200, I could withdraw half of this, which half of this is going to be about $2,700. So my overall investment is $900. I'm already at a net positive of, $2,700 minus those. So I'm already a net positive $1,900 in about 2 weeks with risking very minimal capital. So that's why I'm here. That's why I love Topstep. And I believe this is an amazing opportunity for the traders who are new, right? So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that didn't make sense, right? And now remember, this is max. This is 100% max. I mean, that's not risking a lot for me. And I'm perfectly fine with 3 150K combines. Brand new traders, I recommend just sticking with the smallest amount. Maybe stay with a 150K account, which is only $50. Max, you would be invested in $100, and you still have the same opportunity. This money that I made, so this money that you guys see in front of you, I made this on 1 to 2 contracts. I mean, I don't mind going. We're still waiting for the Bank of Japan decision to see if it will come out. If not, that's fine. Let's see if I could do the max amount of contracts I think I got into this was 1 or 2 contracts. And you could do that with a 50K account. So this is something that you could also do with a 50K account. And I've seen it done. I see traders do that here all the time. Of course, there's the normal statistics where more traders fail than succeed. But that's what I'm here for, right? That's what all of the coaches are here for. That's what TopstepTV is here for as well. And the whole Topstep team is here to help traders because we want to see traders succeed. We want to see traders practice in a simulated environment, get through all of those hurdles, those emotions, and all the issues that you do go through when trying to become a consistent trader, and then eventually get to that live environment, rather than do what I've done and most traders do, and that's jump into the markets with their own live personal money, and then they end up blowing that, losing it, going through an emotional roller coaster, or even something that is much, much worse, and never getting the opportunity, right? I would have never became a better trader without Topstep. The 50K account activation fee is $150. Yeah, so whatever that is, like I said, I don't know in terms of the 50K, but for 150K, yes, $150. I think it's a 150K is $150. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I would always defer to our website and also defer to our Discord. Sarah D, activation fee is the same for all accounts. There we go. There's the answer. So overall investment for a 50K would be $200. Bank of Japan is being slow. Yeah, I know it said tentative. Michael, Dakota, I lost more than 90K of my own money at the start, and my currency is 3x the dollar. So, yeah, could you imagine going through that versus learning how to trade at a prop firm like Topstep, going through all those emotional hurdles, getting consistent, going through express funded account, getting funded, getting into a live account, becoming consistent, And then when you feel confident, invest your own money into your personal account, you'd have a lot different result overall. Yeah, so I'm seeing tentative. We'll see. And when it does come out, we're going to see a lot of volatility. I was hoping it would come out between now and then. We still have 15 more minutes. I don't mind chatting with you guys, which has been fun. To be honest, this has been fun. You wish I found Topstep before losing my money. You would be surprised on how many times I see that. Like, I don't know how many times I could count that. Like, ever since I've been here at Topstep, I started here at Topstep in July. I've probably seen that well over 200 or 300 times about traders saying they wish they would have found Topstep or a prop firm or has practiced in a simulated environment before putting their own money at risk. It's been a great fun chatting with you. Yeah, so like I said, this is a special. I was hoping to see the Bank of Japan decision come out and see if I could place a trade or two. We're not getting that. Oil's right back to where we were. NASDAQ's just set sideways. It's just pretty much nothing. And this is nothing as well. On the Trader Hub on the left, the Topstep X, it says Bank of Japan comes out at 2300, which is 14 minutes from now. Yeah, that's what everyone's saying, which is probably the case. We have 15 more minutes till it comes out. Is it true that 90% cannot day trade? JMac RBP, I believe that number is higher. I believe the true number is closer to what, 95% of traders that do start in day trading fell their first time. We're starting to get a little bit more movement now in the Nikkei. Stats say that. Yeah, statistics say that. Here's the thing. Ever since I've been at Topstep, I've seen a lot of traders come and go. And there are traders who struggle and struggle. And the ones that just stick through it, through all their struggles and blown accounts, are still here and are the ones that I see taking payouts. I've blown accounts. I see traders blow tons and tons of accounts. And the ones that stick through it are the ones that end up getting a payout and becoming consistent and successful. We do have this. This is something to be said. This is a trend line, and Nikkei is actually holding this. If we do break out, maybe I look for something. If we have a breakout, a retest, and then a continuation. Yeah, sticking to it and making adjustments. It's like any sport, right? Basketball, football, hockey, baseball, soccer. The ones who stick to it and are consistent are the ones that come out on the end, on the positive. Hey, coach, if I make 1K in just one day on an XFA, can I already ask for a payout, or I really have to complete? You do have to complete 5 winning days. It's consistency, right? Because we want consistency. We don't want traders just to come in and just max out the contracts and just get lucky during a news event, or just have one big home run and then just think that's good trading and just pull money, get money for that. It's consistency. I think after 30 days doing that, then you can pull out whenever you want. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. You practice like you play, right? You have somebody, if somebody practices a something every single day with a purpose and with a reason and makes adjustments like a professional, they're going to get good at it. Trading is a mind game that you can play against yourself. Yep. I mean, that's one thing I do love trading, is that I could trade at any age. We could be 50, 60 years, 70 years old, and we could trade. There is a smaller aspect of it being a physical, right? It really is just me being me. There is an aspect of just staying healthy, so that way, if you are healthy, typically you're in a better mindset. You're less prone for like depression and other things like that. But it doesn't really matter, right? Gender, your physical, there is no barrier to entry in terms of your ability to trade. Some of the best traders that I have met are stay-at-home moms, to be honest. Jibo, you are 60. There we go. That answers that. I'd probably get in trouble asking this. Do you guys, I mean, I don't think Hogue is 60. Yeah, 65, 59. Yeah, I could show the DOM on the screen. 58, 67. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Hogue is 69. Is that our average viewer? What's our average viewer age? Our average is going to be 50s or 60s, 30s? At least 18 here. I thought I was getting old, and I just turned 30 in October. Yeah, Okay, well, there's 67 typing fast like this. 21. Wow. Yeah, I just turned 30, guys. And you could say I'm very new at this. Don't ask me to do any polls. You could it's never too late, right? Hogue says this all the time. The best time to do it was a year ago. The next best time to do it and start is now. Eight more minutes. And if we don't see some volatility, I'm going to go ahead and end it, guys. This has been fun. Was hoping for some more volatility. Unfortunately, we have not got that rate decision yet. It might just be my luck where as soon as I end the stream, we get it, and then we get that volatility that we've been looking for. Thank you. CJ, hop onto our Discord. They'll be able to show you that, or it's on our Topstep website. No age limit in trading. Yeah, and to be honest, the slow market is really here to cater for everybody. Like I said, we have traders around the world, traders who are just waking up. We have some traders in Australia, New Zealand, Japan. We have traders around the world. And so the slow market is really for everybody who cannot trade during the New York session, who has limited time, who's too busy, and really wants to trade, but life does not always cater to you, right? We all have our own lives, but sometimes we cannot trade when we want to, and this is a great option. This is how I learned how to trade when I was in college, working a job as well, and I only had 2 hours before I went to bed, and I'm spending these 2 hours with you guys tonight. So this is a little bit longer stream. We did a poll. It looks like we're holding the viewers. So I'm happy to do this. I'm not going to be doing this very often. This is kind of a test. I'm going to let the Topstep team know that it was a test because of the Bank of Japan. We will see. Maybe I do this a little bit more often, maybe once or twice a month, just depending if there's some news. And I want to make sure it's structured around volatility, to where if we do get some volatility or if we do get a news event, then I could have that option to extend the stream for an extra hour or so, which is great. But I want to make sure it's planned for going forward, so that way, for example, at the beginning of the week when Topstep sends out their weekly email on Sunday, everybody could know it, everyone could plan for it, and we could get the views up. We have another 5-6 minutes left to the top of the hour. We'll see if we can get some Bank of Japan news coming out to push the markets. Just as there is Florida. It's 11 p.m. for you. It's coming up on 9 p.m. for me. I typically go to bed around midnight my time, 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, thank you guys. Rick, you're in Chicago, Central Time here. Yeah, feel free to go to bed. Like I said, this is 100% here for everybody. You never be forced to trade. You never need to force a trade. You never need to be forced to trade. To be honest, the markets are open 23 hours, Sunday night through Friday afternoon. Markets will always be here. You never need to force any trades. You have the ability to trade the New York session. You have the ability to trade this Asian session overnight. And there's also a London session, which de-trades the London session sometimes, I hear. I know Rips wakes up really early, and there's been talk with coaches. Coach Jay also knows that about maybe myself or somebody else, maybe another coach. I'm not sure. Maybe has somebody coach maybe TopstepTV during the London session. That could be very well possible. I don't know. I'm not too much behind the scenes talking, but Topstep 24/7 would be amazing, right? Rips never sleeps. Yeah. Yep. And you guys can see I shaved. I got a new haircut. I broke that streak of trying to. I had a rough 2 weeks, guys. Everybody goes through a losing streak. I went through one. I just broke out of it. It feels good. We're finally done with the rollover and hopefully some nice clean markets going forward until the next rollover, right? 3 more minutes. Nothing's really happening in the markets. Yeah, 3 more minutes. We're going to see. This is a simulated account I have. I'm definitely not going to be trading my combine yet. I would like to see the afterglow first. In terms of, we'll have the Bank of Japan decision. We'll have, of course, like with any news event, we'll have the first reaction, the initial reaction, right? And then things will start to settle down. And then maybe there'll be a trade opportunity for myself. Most likely it will not be during the stream. I'm going to be ending this stream here soon. I just want to see, and we could watch this Bank of Japan decision come out at the same time. Quinn, Rips and Dakota has helped you a lot. Yeah, Rips is amazing. If there was a New York session trader I would recommend, it would definitely be Rips or any of our coaches here at Topstep. They are amazing at trading the New York session. I'm not the best at trading the New York. I wouldn't say that's my forte. Yes. And there's Rips still awake. Yeah, honest guys, once I'm done here, if you guys, and maybe here's another thing, is our Discord is open 24/7. Once I'm done with the stream, feel free to hop onto our Topstep Discord, and we have traders trading 24/7, even talking about crypto, talking about trade setups. I'm there. I watch it all the time, so you guys could always hop on there. It never sleeps. The market, money never sleeps, guys. And there's our Topstep Discord. Sarah just posted. We're starting to see a little bit more movement here. NASDAQ still kind of just going sideways. Less than 60 seconds. Now the spread. You see there's kind of a big spread now. That's a big spread. 5 tick spread, $125 spread. And we'll see. Most likely this will move most of the markets. How on point is the Bank of Japan at releasing the information? Will they release it right on the dot? Because it's now 10 p.m. Central. I'll give it a couple more minutes. We'll see. We're starting to get a little bit more movement. I was kind of hoping also maybe to show you how the orders will stack up and see if we could push in one direction or not. A big nothing burger, huh? Did we stay up for that? Patiently waiting. Let's see here. That's why they say tentative. That's why I thought it was tentative. Yeah, Bank of Japan set to hike ending negative interest rates. That would definitely bring some volatility. Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. I kind of thought that it was just tentative. There wasn't an exact set time, but it seems like everybody was pretty dang certain that 10 p.m. Central was that decision. To be honest, it really is tentative. It looks like, based by this. Yeah, so it's probably going to happen within the next 24 hours. I think that's where I'm going to end it, guys. I thought it would come out by now, give or take 45 minutes, but we will see. I mean, it could be just like one of those. I mean, just like a stock earnings, right? After that, after the market. So everybody got to think an extra hour. Thank you, Rips, for doing the poll. Need to get some sleep, man. Energy drinks cannot be too good for my health. I can imagine how they're treating you over there. So that was fun. There was a whole lot of nothing in the markets, but I guess I enjoyed talking in my place to a screen and a group of traders. We'll see how this happens. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to trade it. I was hoping to talk about it live during the Topstep TV stream. When an extra hour, I'm going to go ahead and talk to the crew, the Topstep TV crew, to see if I can get a 2-hour stream every once in a while. And we'll go from there. We are getting a little bit of movement now on the NASDAQ. Did we get a release, guys? Did I just miss that right before I'm ending the stream? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoy. And I will chat with you tomorrow.